Welcome to the Modernize or Die podcast, Conference Edition. In this podcast, we spotlight upcoming Cold Fusion conferences and talk to organizers, workshop trainers, and speakers to uncover all the information you and your company needs to decide what conferences and workshops to attend and what sessions you need to see. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. This is a Modernize or Die Conference Edition, and today we're lucky enough to have Luis Majano, CEO of Ortus Solutions and the founder behind Into the Box Conference. So welcome, Luis.
Thank you, Gavin. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. I'm excited about the conference coming up, so I'm glad you could join us and tell everybody a little more about the conference we all love so much.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm very, very excited. Unbelievably, this will be the seventh, I believe, the seventh Into the Box. So it's pretty amazing to see how far we've come with Into the Box. It really started as a group of fellows just meeting before CF Objective. You remember CF Objective being held in Minnesota. And we decided to do meetups like that every year. It went great and it started growing and growing. And of course, we've created so many boxes, not only Coalbox, we have so many products now, so many open source initiatives. And as all the momentum that we've gotten with modernization, I think it was time that we decided to launch our own conference in Houston in 2016. And it's been really exciting. It's been really exciting how every year, I think the number was 30% increase. So every year we're increasing 30% in terms of attendance. So that's really exciting to see and really, really good for our community to see so much movement and interest in really modernizing and educating people. I think that we've made a name for ourselves for building lots of documentation at the beginning, but then we've moved into adding a lot of training capabilities for folks. And this is definitely a training conference. You will not be bored.
Cool. So, you mentioned that we started it. Was it mainly because you wanted to have the more detailed and depth box product content? Because obviously we can't go and take over a conference and just fill it up with box products. So is that the reason you think it started, or just you wanted more conference time with people? What do you think was a driving factor?
I think it was a mixture. I think it was a great way to network for us. We are a professional open source company. So we have to be, face to face with clients and face to face with developers. And so one initiative was definitely networking. And the other one was definitely exposure. I think that, I remember submitting over 20 topics for certain conferences at one point. And between all of us as a team, right? Sometimes the conference committees have a hard time giving us topics because we have so much content that is box centric, right? So I think that those two facets are the ones that I focused on to start Into the Box. One was to be able to have more exposure time with developers and clients, and second one is to really drive a lot of content. We have a lot of content, and we wanted to drive it ourselves.
Okay, and so as you mentioned in Houston, we broke away from CF Objective. So for a few years, we were the day before CF Objective. Everybody going along would just come one day earlier and attach, into the box. And we had a lot of people. Sean Caulfield came to a couple. We had, Mark Drew and a lot of people from outside the box community come in as well. And so that was really cool. But then we broke off and went to Houston. So what was the big reason for moving to Houston other than the fact that you're obviously living there?
Yeah, so I moved to Houston in 2015, and for me, you knowing me as a Christian man, I've always had that inside of me of being able to launch Into the Box as a separate kind of entity, right? And when I moved here to Texas, after long months of praying, I really thought that there was a time for us to take a leap of faith and really make Into the Box like a product, right? Treat it as a product where, we are building lots of initiatives with Into the Box, lots of momentum for education. And it was definitely a leap of faith. I think that the logistics of always being in Minnesota were very difficult. It's not easy to get there. Second one, as we are growing as a team, it was very difficult to get the team there. right? So the actual logistics of getting people there and nobody on the ground actually being able to look for hotels and look for venues, it was very difficult. So those were the kind of the decisions snowballing into bring everything into Texas. And I think that, we have grown enough. I thought there was the right time for us to kind of go and venture on our own. And I'm glad we did. It was definitely a leap of faith, but it has been extremely successful. And every year is improving and improving. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, another big thing too is, of course, we wanted that extra day. CF Objective had 3 days, and we had
Yeah.
1 day. So if we were going to do a 2 day conference before their 3 day conference, 5 days is a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
But like I said, the logistics were just getting out of hand. I mean, we have to rely on CF Objective. We have to rely on their marketing. The last few years, unfortunately, that kind of it dwindled in all aspects. So I think we actually did it at the right time. Because I don't think CF Objective lasted more than a year after we launched
yeah,
on our own.
so that was pretty good. And then obviously we went from a 1 day conference to a 2 day conference with workshops, and then this year we're going even more. So this year is
Yeah.
the first year with 4 days if you put it all together.
Yes, well, I think this was after feedback from lots of attendees, and you brought this point up many times. You love training, you love teaching, and I think everybody in the team, which makes it really special, is that we really enjoy teaching and we really enjoy being able to sit down and teach developers modern development. So this year's Into the Box conference is really a training conference. We have 2 days of workshops, some that will spawn the 2 days. So we have our traditional or famous trainings, which is Coalbox Zero to Hero, and then Coalbox Hero to Superhero. So those will be 2 days. So this time around, you get to sit down with us for 2 days and actually complete the full trainings for those 2 days. And then we will also have 1 day workshops that will repeat themselves. So this is a great opportunity for folks that actually wanted to learn, let's say, Elasticsearch and also learn about BDD. Now they can. In previous years, they really had to make a choice, right? What do I want to learn about? But they maybe wanted to learn both. So this year we decided to do that, to do two days of workshops. Some will repeat between the 2 days, and some will be the length of those 2 days. So very, very excited for this new format. I know it complicates a lot of issues, a lot of things for us in terms of logistics and in terms, but I think it'll be worth it to be able to be more, to spend more time with the developers and teach them a lot more.
Yeah, I know personally, leading these workshops over the years, people have been wanting more of it. These days with budgets and everything else, they have to
Yeah.
pick one conference to go to, and people are picking Into the Box because they want that advanced level training. And they can't make it to our other trainings around the place because obviously Ortus does training everywhere, wherever these conferences are, and we do spatial trainings and we can do on site trainings, even online trainings, but people like that in depth training. And if they're going to go Into the Box, we needed to do that too. So I think there's going to be a lot of happy people, and we're seeing people already signing up for that, and they're excited about it. So I think that's a really big thing. So obviously we think it's a great conference, but why do you think people should attend? What makes Into the Box stand out in your mind?
I think our mission, right? I think our mission is what stands out from other conferences is that we want to push the envelope, right? We are, us at Ortus, we don't want to conform, right? We don't want to stay mediocre. We don't want to adhere to that status quo. We really want to be challenged. We really want to take things to another level. And that is the feeling that you will get Into the Box is basically pushing the envelope in terms of modernization, making sure that people and motivating, sometimes we feel like we're coaches, right? We want to motivate developers no matter their age, and CoFusion has been around for a long, long time, right? And we have developers that are young, but we also have the developers that are seasoned, right? And I really want us to make sure that these seasoned developers know that there is a way to modernize even at a seasoned age, right? There are ways to teach that dog new tricks, and that's what we are experts on, is that we can teach you, we can take you by the hand, and take you from that legacy and procedural approaches that made Cold Fusion famous. But now it's more important to be able to actually be agile, right? To be modern, to make sure security is prominent, right? And modularity is prominent, container strategies. So, for us, we want this conference for people to come in here and leave changed, right? To leave motivated, to leave with practical techniques that they can go and apply, and not only modernize themselves, but modernize the companies that they work for, right? We have so many topics where people are in the same boat, right? Their bosses don't want to modernize. They have this 10, 15-year-old app, right? And they don't know what to do with it, right? And sometimes people don't know what to do with it until they get hacked, right? Then they pour the money in to get modern. So we've all heard these stories, right? So we're like your support group here at Into the Box, right? Where we can help you to move into modern land. And that has been a big focus for us at Into the Box is modernization. We want to innovate. And this applies to many technologies, not only Cold Fusion, right? Cold Fusion is one tool in the toolbox, and we showcase lots of things that go very well with Cold Fusion, right? Because Cold Fusion is great at what it does. So I think that Into the Box really should attract developers that want to innovate, that want to modernize, and that really want to learn hands-on.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean that's one thing I like about it is there's so many things that we're doing, and personally I have trouble keeping up with what Ortus is putting out there. We've got Elasticsearch is something I wanted to learn so badly, and I haven't had the opportunity on the projects I'm working on to really work with it much. But that's something that we've pushed out there, and it's amazing, and I want to learn more. So if I have trouble keeping up, being on the same team as all of you guys, like how is everybody else doing out there? That's
Yeah.
And it's great to see. I mean, some of the stuff I never seen before, never heard of before. I learned about at a session. Someone, like Eric Peterson, before he joined Ortus, had a couple of great talks on integrate, and he had one on QB, and now those things are so much bigger and a lot more people know about them. But I learned about them at a session Into the Box because again we're pushing those boundaries. It's not entry level stuff. It's not the beginners. It's not the 5-tagger special. It's a little deeper. And so,
yeah, definitely. I mean, this is definitely where people can really learn and be pushed. You will be challenged. There are some topics that you will leave and you're like, whoo, I need some vitamin D right now, right? Vitamin D and B. So, and I think it's important. I think that we all want to be challenged. I feel like as software developers, we want to create things, and I think that when we are challenged and we make something work, is that satisfaction that comes that makes us really, love what we do, right? So,
very cool.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. And like you said, there's so many things that are happening in our team, even, right? That I think sometimes these conferences are a great way for people to learn from each other even more, right?
Yep. Now, another thing, too, obviously we mentioned networking is really important for a conference, and everyone attending will get to network with not just us, but other people. But probably the biggest myth I've heard over and over and over and over again, and a lot of people sit up and said it, but does the conference just deal with Coalbox?
I wish, right? No. Coalbox has been so incredible. It's the truth, right? Believe it or not, this will be the 14th birthday of Coalbox, and it was the first open source project that I launched, that I created, and it has been great. A tremendous amount of companies worldwide using it and basing their entire businesses on this single framework. So it's impressive what it has achieved, but we have grown, and we have created many products, many initiatives that are the majority are open source. So this conference, even though it says Into the Box, we kind of taken that box connotation into everything that we do, and it's mostly for fun, and it's kind of sounds like. And if you see something boxed, usually comes from us.
Not always, but usually.
usually. So it was more of branding, but there are many products now, and we have grown. And I think that Coalbox is still centric. It still drives a lot of innovation of everything that we do, right? But there are many other open source initiatives and product initiatives that we have.
Yeah.
So we might even be showcasing a new product initiative and Into the Box that I'm currently working on right now. That we met today on this, Gavin. So
Yep.
still a secret. So I don't know if we're gonna have something to show, but it is definitely a product that we're gonna be showcasing. It is based on Coalbox, but on other technologies. And so I think that it's just centric, but definitely there are many topics here. This is not a Coalbox conference. This is a developer conference, a modernization and innovation conference.
Cool. Yeah, I just know so many people didn't want to go because they thought they had to use box products to go, and like I know a lot of people. Nolan went, and he tried to share the word, and Matthew Clemente, the first time he went there, he was surprised how much other content we had, and then I know people like Tony Junkies. Big Framework One guy was there, and he got a lot out of the conference too, and I think he's even speaking this year. So I mean, we have a lot of community members reaching out and contributing content too. So I mean, so you want to talk a little bit about the speakers, because as I mentioned, there's a big mix there, and we had a lot of applications this year, didn't we?
Yeah, it was incredible. Actually, we moved to pay-per call, and even though we got a lot of spam, we actually did get a lot of legitimate, submissions from people that we had no idea that we are actually going to meet at the conference. So it's really amazing the variety of speakers that are Into the Box right now. And for example, we have this guy Joel Lord, which he's a OpenShift evangelist for Red Hat. So he discovered our conference and thought it would be a great addition to showcase OpenShift and which is a Kubernetes orchestrated platform by Red Hat. And he selected. So he's going to be here, and it's really exciting to host somebody from Red Hat and showcase all these things. We're actually going to have a meeting with him because he's going to change his demos from Node to Command Box. So, these are things that are really great to see, because it puts Cold Fusion on the map as well, right? It makes a person that had never heard of this anymore and actually start using it and do their demos with our technology. So that's really fantastic. But we have Tony Jukes presenting. We have other presenters that are, not Coalbox, not even Coalbox devs. They're presenting on great applications such as security things, mental helpers, right? Automation testing from Francisco Mancardi, that he's coming all the way from Italy to present. So, database centric issues, testing issues. So I'm really excited for actually all the non-Coalbox stuff that we have this year.
I know it's hard to pick too. We had 138 submissions from the community, let alone all the topics that we like to submit and talk about. So we basically had to pick these 28 sessions out of like 200 sessions, and it wasn't easy. I mean, we had 3 or 4 meetings, 3 or 4 hours at a time. We probably spent half a day just working on this.
It was brutal. I think this was the first year. Which is exciting to me, to tell you the truth. I was gladly putting the time in, clicking, right? Yeah. But yeah, it was very exciting to see so many submissions to go through. I know some were spam, so let's say 20% were spam, but still, it was a real good feeling to go through all these, and there was so much good content. I mean, I wish I could give everybody a session, but the reality is that if we continue this route, Gavin, I think that maybe having a third track is on the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot of content, a lot of good stuff too. I mean, it was really hard to pick. I mean, we probably have 10 sessions that could have easily made it, and then there was plenty more that we'd want if we had more space and more time, but you can only do so many soft skills talks, and a lot of these things we have to figure out. Okay, are they going to present somewhere else? Is this something that they could get online? What's the best for our for our attendee? What's really hits home with them? So I know it was a hard process, but I'm really happy with it, and we'll be announcing that here pretty soon. And I'm hoping that we can get a lot of these speakers on these little conference edition podcasts. Let's try and get them to tell you a little more about their sessions, so you guys can pick the right sessions when you attend. So I'm really excited about that.
We actually went over with Jorge and Paulina, our PR specialist. So they are actually inputting all the schedules and all the workshop information into Content Box. So that, because that basically powers not only the website but powers the mobile and the progressive web apps that we do. So it's in en route. So our deadline is to have the schedule by tomorrow, which is February 11th. So God willing, tomorrow will be done and the schedule will be out and available, and then people can actually see the content.
Yep. So by the time you guys are listening to this or watching this, you should be able to see it live on intothebox.org. So very cool. So again, we have 2 days of workshops, 2 days of conference, and it's in Houston. We're going to be at the Hyatt Place again. So if you've been to it before, it's a great venue. It's got good food, and we're very close to a lot of awesome things. And it's in the Woodlands part of Houston. So basically, you walk outside, you're in a forest. So when you're walking down the street, you gotta watch out, look for the little openings to get to the streets. It's really nice. It's to be able to go to a conference and go for a walk in the forest right outside.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. But so we've had some super early bird specials out there. I think we're in the early bird special territory. So if you guys are interested, please go check it out. And if you use podcast 10, so podcast 10, you can get a discount rate on your tickets too. So definitely go check that out. And then we hope to see everybody there. So.
Oh, we also, I forgot about it, Gavin. We're starting a promotion. We talked about this morning with Paulina and Jorge, and we're doing a kind of a web apps hands-on training in DC in April, right?
Okay.
And whoever attends can can come into the box to do a free workshop. So if you go and do the training with me in DC this April, you will give you a coupon, and you can attend any workshop and into the box for free.
Oh, wow, even better. So if you guys think about coming into the box one, maybe hit up the DC one as well. Get extra content. That sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that releases should be this week as well. So by the time this podcast comes out, there'll be this promotion out, so people can take advantage of it.
Okay, sounds great. So last question: if you're going to ask your boss why you're going to come, what are the selling points you're going to tell your boss why you should be able to come to the conference?
Ooh, tough one, right? There's many. One, you can't tell them that you're coming for the mariachi party, right? That probably wouldn't get you some points to come, but there will be a mariachi party. But I think the overarching theme of modernization is important, right? I think that especially for a language that has been around for a long time, and we know that there are companies that are still, using or building their software like they used to 10, 15 years ago, right? They have to modernize. So I think that to convince their bosses, they need to tell them that they're going to be doing hands-on workshops. They're going to be doing hands-on development. They're going to be on the ground floor, learning from everybody that has gone through those battles, and learn how to get out of this legacy hell, right? And how to move forward with modern skills, right? And if you're already in a modern capacity, then you're going to be very challenged, right? There are many presentations here that are taking the language to another level, and companion technologies to another level that maybe you haven't played with, like Elasticsearch. We have a lot of sessions this year on Kubernetes and OpenShift and orchestration. So really is a matter of learning, and you're going to come back and be able to apply those skills and see the return of investment.
Very cool. And like you said, those workshops we have, they're small workshops with, we have 1 or 2 trainers, and then we have 10 or 15 people. So you get that hands-on touch. We're going to make sure that you get through. You're not going to be left for dead in a workshop where it has 100 people and they just hope you can keep up. We make sure you get through it, and that the 2 days of training, we give you lots of examples, lots of work through. You got to work through the problems. We're not just talking at you the whole time. You're doing. Because a lot of people learn better from actually building it and doing it. And when you walk away, you have an app, and that's the way that those, especially those 2-day workshops, the 0 to hero and the hero to superhero. You have an app when you walk away, and that way you can basically look back at it and refer to it and as you go later. So I think that's a big plus for me. That's when I first came out and met the Ortus team. I did a boot camp, a 3-day boot camp before a 3-day conference. I did 6 days in a row, and my brain might have melted a little bit, but I was, motivated, excited, and I learned a lot. And so, yeah, I'm glad I could be on the other side teaching you guys and getting you up to speed. And we made a lot of good friends and over the years too at these trainings, So it's definitely a good learning experience, and I recommend everyone, take us up on it, and it's a good opportunity. So
Definitely. Yeah,
okay.
and if you want to check out the content, we have all the 2019 videos available, and I think actually they put them at 50% off right now. So I got to check with Jorge and Paulina on that. But there you can check out the content from last year. It won't be a few bucks. Be like and you can check out all the conference videos from last year, and get an idea of what Into the Box is about. And we're going to do the same thing this year. Everything will be recorded, and the attendees get free access to those recordings. And if not, you can do it virtually.
Very cool. Okay, well, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great conference, and thanks very much for your time, Luis, talking about this. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you soon about your workshop and your sessions, so they can hear more about those too.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Gavin. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Show notes for this episode can be found on conference.modernizeordie.io, where you can also subscribe to your favorite podcast player like Spotify or iTunes. We also have a link to YouTube playlist to find more videos just like this. Music from this podcast are used under a royalty-free license from sound.com and bluetreeaudio.com.